It's easy to think that any guest at any cost is better than no guest at all. I'm Kevin Davis, creator of the Vacation Rental Profit Method, and today I'd like to discuss with you how that's not true. When you own and run a vacation rental, one of the most stressful things to see are empty nights on your calendar. And it takes a little bit of practice and a little bit of experience in order to know how to deal with those, especially when you're getting inquiries saying, hey, we'd love to rent your house for 30 days, 40 days, can you make me a deal? At first glance, this sounds like a great way to make some extra money. We're just gonna book the house for as long as possible to make sure that we don't have any empty nights. Well, at first glance, that's true, but let's look at the math that goes behind that. And I'm gonna encourage you to change your thinking and have a little bit of confidence and be willing to take a little bit of risk so that you can maximize your profit with your vacation rental. So here's how it works. You're in November, for say. I'm filming this in November right now, and you're looking at times like March, April, maybe February, which tend to be sort of high season months in most parts of the country, especially if you have one like I do in Orlando or some other tropical warm environment. You get an inquiry that says, hey, I want to rent your house for 31 nights, let's say. Will you make me a deal? So you think to yourself at first, man, what a great deal. I'll have the house rented for 30 nights, 31 nights. So I don't mind sacrificing a little bit of my profit in order to secure that booking. Well, now that's a good sort of initial thought, but when you look at the math behind it, it doesn't make any sense. Let's take it this way. Let's say that your standard rate that time of year is going to be $125 a night for sake of argument. It can be sort of all over the board. You agree then to discount somewhere to the $100 a night range. So you're going to make them a deal for, let's say, $3,000 for the entire month, plus fees and taxes and all that stuff. But for the sake of argument, we're looking at $3,000 a month. So you've already taken $25 a night off the cost of your rental, which is a pretty substantial discount. But you're thinking, hey, at least it's better than not having any at all. So you've already taken $25 a night that you're losing. Now, let's look at the types of guests that are renting between doing short-term rentals, let's call it 1 week, versus long-term rentals, let's call it 30 to 31 nights, full month at a time. What do most people do when they're renting a week at a time at a vacation destination, whether it be ski, sun, theme park location like I have, whatever it happens to be? If they're going to be there for a week, they're not going to spend much time in your house, right? They're going to be there probably just to sleep, or maybe evening times, sleeping, leave in the morning. For the most part, the house is going to sit empty during the day. So that means the resources that your guests are using from the house, whether it be air conditioning, heat, water, whatever, wear and tear even takes part in that, is going to be far less than someone that's going to be home all day. Well, contrast that with someone that's using the house for a month at a time, like a snowbird, or that kind of thing, that's going to come down to the house, spend probably 80 to 90% of their time actually at the house. That's going to be home all day. They may go out golfing, they may sort of just live life, but they've effectively moved their daily life down to or up to wherever your vacation rental happens to be. So they're a much higher consumer of the resources of the house. Everything, like we said, from electricity to heat, water usage, wear and tear on the house, wear and tear on sheets, towels, all of those kind of things may be higher if they're sort of hanging out and doing their thing all day. So you've already discounted your house by $25 a night. Then let's just put a number. Let's say that they typically are going to use the house 10 hours more a day than the other person that's only there for a week at a time. So you're instantly using the house, let's just call it 50%, 40 to 50% more than the 1 week rental. So you basically double dip on the amount of money that you're lost because your costs are way higher and your revenue is way lower. So what I try to do whenever I get inquiries like this for long term is I don't want to turn those people away, but I know for a fact that I can make those rentals happen a week at a time. So what I do is I actually just give them the quote that's going to be for the full rate. And I'm pretty honest with people. I say, hey, March, February are one of our highest demand times. I have no problem renting this house. We've been fully booked for the last 4 years. I can't really do any discounting because I know that I can rent it, supply and demand kind of thing. And people will respond in one of two ways. Either, hey, you're terrible, I won't rent from you, or they just don't respond, or we're totally willing to pay that. We understand, we see the value in what you're providing, so we'll just pay the full rate. I have several people that come every year, rent 30 nights at a time. They're paying the same rate of someone that is going to be renting a week at a time. Now, in my case, in most cases, I'm still, my costs are still higher with those guests because they're utilizing the resources of the house more, but I don't necessarily mind because I'm getting the full rate anyway, and those costs are a little bit more hidden. They're paying full rate for pool heat in my case during the wintertime, and they're paying the full nightly rate, taxes, fees, all of those things. So I just don't discount. That also has another effect, which is continuing to establish that value. I'm not a big encourager of any discounts at all. So let me give you an example of real world stuff, right? So I've had probably 10 to 15 inquiries over the last 3 months for March. March typically in Orlando is going to be a high use time. It's my highest rate of the year because it's not only spring break, but it's also pool heating season. So you're going to pay a premium to come in March. So we've had all these people asking me, will you discount? We want to rent for the whole month of March. I keep saying, no, I can't do it. I'm not going to discount. I know that spring break is coming. I know I can rent those. So now we're in November, like I said. I'm looking at those dates that are open and I'm thinking, oh man, I should have taken one of those things. But recently, my inquiries have been up and I've actually rented every week so far, except for 1 week in March, which means if you think of the $25 a night, then I've increased my revenue for those nights by threefold. So that's awesome. I'm excited about that. And I know for a fact that I'll rent that last week. Actually, looking at my calendar now, I'm fully booked from starting this Saturday all the way through almost the third week in March. And I will go ahead and finish those up, and we'll probably end up fully booked from now until May. So I hope that helps you. Don't be fooled into taking cheaper nights that cost you more.